Metro Vancouver Park Ranger Aaron Land is on patrol, on the watch for park visitors who aren't observing park bylaws. One of his main tasks is to educate people about keeping their dogs on leash.
Parks Department, I don't know if you're aware or not, this is actually an on-leash area.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the whole area we have designated spots. What we like to do is when we come upon people is identify ourselves. You know, hi, I'm from Metro Vancouver, I'm a park officer. And then we let them know sort of why we're there. You know, in this case it will be, I'm afraid your dog's off leash, this is an on-leash area. Get your leash your dog back up. And then we go into a bit of education of why we have those rules.
One from my friend that's on the phone.
There are leash optional areas at 5 of Metro Vancouver's 22 regional parks. And now there's a pilot project to extend that same privilege to dog owners using the trails at Capilano River Regional Park.
We've got 26 kilometers of trail in the park. We're looking at about half of them to be available for off-leash opportunities. We've actually also had to put in some dog excluded areas where there's no dogs allowed. That's been met with varying degrees of acceptance, but slowly I think people are understanding why.
Good, thanks very much for having them on leash, appreciate that. I mean, we get everything to people just ignoring us, to people trying to tell us that a dog off leash isn't that big of a deal. Well, it's just my dog doing this. Well, no, it's your dog plus another 10 dogs plus another few thousand dogs. That's a huge impact when you don't stay on the designated trail. And away from local waterways, no matter how small. Yeah, the definitions of creek and puddle, I mean, we've heard them all. It's just a little ditch, you know. All those waterways lead somewhere, and the dogs going in and out of those waterways has a lot of erosion problems. That creates silt. Silt creates lack of oxygen in the rivers for fish and other animals. So it's a huge thing for us to keep dogs and other animals outside of the creeks.
We wanted to see up close what happens when an off-leash dog goes off the trails. So we mounted a small, wearable GoPro camera to the backside of Bella, a fairly typical young and energetic dog. We took her to a municipal off-leash park. Here's Bella in the water. And here she is chasing a ball. Draw your own conclusion about what it's like having a boisterous 60-pound dog invade your home. And now do the math. Capilano River Regional Park has an estimated 250,000 dog visits a year. There's a lot of potential for habitat damage.
We look for respect and individual responsibility when you're walking your dogs. It always can't be put onto our staff to be everywhere all the time to enforce these guidelines. We're looking for people to understand why they're in place and why they're necessary.
A little bit of education goes a long way, and most people will comply. We might see them once or twice again, but we usually get through most people.
I think that if you're a responsible owner, you know when your dog can be off leash, and you know when you have to leash them. So if you have a dog that's really well behaved and can heel and all those kinds of things, and you're responsible picking up all your, doo-doos and stuff, I think it's the owners that have to take that responsibility.
I think people are slowly getting used to the idea that this is something that is working. They are understanding that there's a compromise here that we're trying to put in place for all park users, not just our dog owners.
I grew up in this area here. I love the outdoors, and you want to see this resource being protected. We're not just here to get people to put their dogs on a leash. We're here to protect the park and balance people's fun and enjoyment and safety inside that park. And if we can find some sort of harmony between those, then we're doing a really good job.